Episode 1 of the GammaX podcast. Let's go. How you doing, Greg?
Good, man. I had a great weekend, actually. A really nice weekend.
Yeah, what did you get up to?
Well, I got some decent work done. I mean, we really started doing some stuff on our website. I built basically mini YouTube on our website, and things started working really well. So I love it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Glad you got that done. That was a pretty cool project of yours to get those videos on there and get them all organized and whatnot. Yeah, I just been coding all week, all weekend. You know how it goes with me. So yeah,
That's your
that's
entire
about
life,
it.
man.
That's about it. But you're starting to get fall colors up here, eh, in Alberta. I don't know
Yeah, I
about
was up
down
north
there.
not that long ago.
Where?
I was all the way up in Maine for a little bit, and it's as
Holy,
close to Canada as I could get. So it was cool up there, man.
holy crap! Yeah, leaves are starting to fall off the trees now, so I guess we're getting into that time of year.
Winter's coming, dude.
Yeah, so it is, isn't it? So, all right, what's going on this week in the markets? You hear anything good? I see.
Well,
I see. What do we got? We got quarterly options expiry here in on the 30th on Wednesday. So that's something to watch if you're trading.
yeah, I do
And
know that we just hit some all-time highs too, so a lot of people are kind of worried about in the futures, now that we're running up against these all-time highs, do we get a pullback? Are we going to do a reversal, or are we just going to just keep on pumping like we've been doing?
yeah, definitely a concern. But if you look at last week, 3 of the days were down days. And
Yeah.
basically we started the week at highs and ended near lows, but a little bit of a pullback. We're starting to push back up now for the Sunday Open, but I mean that's always a concern at all time highs, right? So it's all, and then when you're at all time when you're at recent lows or yearly lows or something like that, then it's the complete opposite. You think it's going to keep, you know, can't go any lower. Or it's going to keep lower. So yeah, you just got to roll with it. It looks very typical of this sell off that we had. I'll share my screen here. This sell off that we had here, it reminds me of a while ago. I think it was December 2017, 2018, I think. 2018, December 2018. It looked exactly like this. Push down, pull back, push, and then we just had a straight recovery. It was when Trump come in the first time. Exactly the same. It come down on tariff fears, everything like that. And about here, I started to realize it was going to be a bull market again. I was pretty confident. I had a couple of swing trades on. I think it was on Google and TQQQ, which is like the two times NQ stock. And I had a couple. I made a couple of bucks, not much, but yeah, I had a couple swing trades on, and I cut them out about highs just in case. And it come up. It Look at that gap beyond highs there on the NQ. That's kind of a crazy gap, eh? So it ended the day right at the highs. The next day it gapped up a couple hundred points. So yeah,
Yeah, that mean gap really tells you what's going on. I know Bitcoin likes to follow the market quite a bit too, and they're talking like on Bitcoin, if you look at their daily and weekly Bollinger Bands, everything is in such a tight squeeze and it's just going just straight up at a 45-degree angle too.
yeah. I I'm looking at the ES here, and if you look, it's following a nice trend, isn't it?
Perfectly. 45-degree angle, the perfect angle.
So let's see if it keeps going on that trend, or if it wants to pull back from there. I assume it's going to want to come down. I mean, this has been a pretty
Yeah.
straight run. We're probably looking at what time of the year? Probably okay. So yeah, probably by December, probably at the end of the year, we'll have a little bit of a sell off. I'm going to assume coming into probably the end of October, November, December, around there. This is probably going to cool down on profit taking before the end of the year, just to make sure these big boys are going to want to lock in some of their profit there. Eh? So I assume there's going to be a little bit of that going on. If we look at the Dow, it's it hasn't even broke all time highs though. It wicked up above it, but the Dow hasn't. The Dow's been really weak this year. Actually, it
Yeah.
hasn't wanted to break very much at all. So I'm surprised about that.
It tries to follow, but it's not making the moves that ES and NQ are making right now.
And RTY is not up to all-time highs, which doesn't surprise me. If the risk appetite is high, then RTY will lead the way with NQ generally. So we're just not seeing that. So small caps are not on fire right now. Probably next year it's going to be a year for caps. So gold, look at that though. That tells you something, doesn't it?
Yeah, when gold's screaming up like that, then you know that people are stockpiling gold. There's a reason for it.
Yeah, look at that. That's a big run in gold. So it's probably going to be due for a pullback of some sort. I assume. Let's look at the. I always like to look at the fib, especially on the daily. So I just take the most recent pivot, draw something like that, see where we are. So yeah, we had a pretty good breakout there. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. A good place to come would be come back and test these highs, but who knows? It consolidated for a long time there, a couple months. That was a couple month range. So I mean, it had enough time to build up for that breakout.
And then when it broke, and as soon as it broke that consolidation, it just screamed every day for just a week straight.
Yeah, look at that. Update. Update. That's kind of crazy, eh? How does the trend line look on that?
90-degree angle.
Yeah, pretty much straight up. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, that's not even 45. That's like in the 85-degree range.
Yeah, so what do you do about that? Yeah, it's probably got to come down. I mean, that's quite the move, but you never know with gold. It's a little bit different than the stocks and the indices, so can have a bit of behavior. Oil, I'm surprised. Okay, so we're opening up on Sunday here. I'm surprised gold is down and oil is down on the open, and now everything else is up. RTY had a bit of a pullback at the open here on Sunday, but everything else went up, so I'm just surprised to see these go down like that. But anyways, yeah, I'm wondering when the Dow's going to come back into play. What do you think?
Well, I think if one of these can lead the way and determine where the market's going to go, because, okay, if we're not hitting or breaking all-time highs and it wants to start turning around, then, okay, now we kind of can anticipate ES and NQ maybe following that at some time. But if it finally breaks those all-time highs and it just starts screaming, that kind of gives you an answer of where the market might go. So we definitely should be looking for a leader of what's going to start, trailing that path forward for us in the market, just to see where we head this week.
Yeah, we'll see what's up this week. We have a little bit of red folder news, but not a lot. I mean, we have what do we? I think we have jobs on Thursday. Do we? I'm just looking at the schedule here. Jobless claims on Thursday, so that'll be a nice one at 8:30. There's a prop firm passer right there. So yeah, not a huge week for news though. Yeah, not a whole lot going
Speaking
on
of prop firm pass, I think you've got a couple things you've been working on.
Yeah, I do. I do got some cool tools for that. Called the Live Lines. Just been working on this tool. It's an interactive line. You can turn it on and off, and every time price crosses it, it'll throw a signal for AutoBot to trade. So it's actually been a longer project than I thought, to be honest with you, but this one is just the auto line. So it'll do auto horizontal lines and auto trend lines, and it'll default them to on, and then once price crosses, it'll shut it off and throw a signal. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty cool tool for just, it can be for everyday trading if you like. It could be for news, like 8:30 news, jobless claims, or the Fed speak. I do have a manual mode for it too, so you just do like a live horizontal line. Do a couple of those, and then you just turn them on, and then wherever price was when it got turned on there, it'll throw a signal. So you can do that. And as soon as it crosses those lines, it's going to throw a signal. So this is the manual mode of it. I got a couple. It's actually really cool. I've been wanting to make it for a while, as you know. You can also do it as a trend line.
You don't really need too much to be able to see and pass an eval, really, I mean, if you know where the market is and you're kind of flat right before news, You don't really need too much.
No, I mean if you go for like a 50K Apex, I don't know about the other companies, but yeah, you just need 62 ticks. Yeah, sorry I didn't have my screen sharing there. I didn't realize, but um, this would be a perfect example. Well, we're on the ES, so is this the ES? Let's try the NQ. That'll look a little better. Sometimes. Where's even like 930? Yeah, perfect. Something like this.
Yeah.
Coming into the market open here. It would be nice to get into some consolidation like that, but
Yeah.
yeah, if you wanted to just try and pass one, take the max contracts. If you take 10 contracts and you do a 62 tick target, that's all you need to pass that. And that's what I did. I've never passed a prop firm properly, as you would say. I've always just kind of cheated it that way because they let you do it. So that's how I always did it. And I would do it at market open, market close. I actually avoided news personally, just because I don't know. I felt like the market open was a little bit more predictable, and the 6 p.m. open as well, not just the 9:30 open, the 6 p.m. as well, and yeah, and market close. So yeah, an example would be you come in like this, you see it consolidating right before news, right before the open. You just go a little bit above, a little bit below, and then these will throw signals, and you just do your long signal would be a bullish cross, and the short signal would be a bearish cross, and then if I were to put it in the AutoBot for that 50K example, you would just do 62 tick target, and then it doesn't matter for your stop. I mean, if you get stopped out, you get stopped out. So you could just make it 100 or something like that, and then yeah, you roll with it. So it would, in this case, it broke the bottom, then it would do a 100 tick back on the stop, or you could use this if you wanted to do a signal stop. You could type in the short tag, so you could do bullish cross. You can make this your stop as well if you wanted. But then, yeah, in this case, you would just drop down. You would have got your 62 ticks, which is just over 15 points. So there's 70, 60, 55. So you would have passed just right there like that. But you got to remember that started a couple minutes before the market opens. So you kind of gotta know when to read it, and you want a bit of consolidation. So once you see it consolidating, that's a good time to try it out. But yeah, that's all that's what I've been working on, these live
a little
lines.
bit of semi-automation mode, really, I mean, a little bit of semi-automated trading, and I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I like it. I do like the trend lines for different strategies. Turn them on and off. If you go into indicators, there's a bunch of settings for it too. You could turn just the horizontal lines off, on or off. So if you don't want the horizontal lines and you only want trend lines, you can do that. I have it set at 1, so that's like one long trend line, one short, but you could do like 4. So then it would show you the last 4 trend lines. So here's the 2 most recent that haven't been broken, but these are broken, that's why they're off. But when they first print, they're not off, they're on, if you wish. So yeah, this is more, I mean, I would try this on like a Renko chart or the Gamma bars or something like that. A full auto trend line. And I actually have a strategy. I'll probably make a video on it eventually. It's those, remember that time I showed you those bars and you're like, yeah, those are too freaky for me. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember those. Oh, yeah.
I have a whole strategy around that, and it's actually really cool. It's a trend trading strategy. And those freaky bars, I think they're just like Renko, but then like with a really high reversal threshold. It's like 200 reversal threshold. So that's why they look the way they do. But the strategy kind of is once you get into that threshold, and once you get that huge candle and it's pulling back into that area, you start looking for trend line breaks with a rising pivot. So if you're going to go long, you want the top pivot to be rising. So a top pivot higher than the last top pivot, and then you draw a trend line and then you get in. So this auto trend lines would be good for that kind of a straight. That's like a master slave strategy. So the freaky chart would be your master, and then this little thing with like Renko or Gamma bars would be your slave chart. But yeah, so that's what I've been working on there, and yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. It's working pretty well. I just gotta learn.
I like how they color. They're really bright. They stand out completely.
Yeah, that's my custom glow effect. But I can export the AutoX lines, which is the automated ones, but for the manual, I'm still having trouble with it. So I don't know. I don't know why, because I built three tools and then it's also a strategy. So I still can't figure out how to get it exported, but I guess we'll have to figure it out one way or another. So,
We'll get there.
anyways, but yeah, I mean, some other members have had some good luck testing so far. Um, I think Sam I am was just taking the simple trend shift signals. I don't know what her settings were, but she seemed to be doing pretty good. And then there's another fellow in Jat's group.
Yeah, I just seen
Um,
that. Yeah.
yeah,
What a perfect
so
chart too.
yeah,
Really
I
good job
mean,
on the chart.
yeah, it was really good. He did really good. So I mean, that whole launch went really good, eh? With we partnered up with Jat and the GAN group, and
We had a lot of good responses on the wait list. I mean, it filled up. I think we were all like talking one weekend and we're like, oh man, we'll put like 15 spots on. If we get 5 or 7 filled by the weekend, that would be impressive. And we did a late post, like 11:30 at night. I just got the GAN page all finished up and then Jat posted the link and then Jat went to bed. And then you and I are like, okay, the Discord blows up like on a late night. And by the time the weekend was done, we had to increase that threshold 3 times. So it was a really good result with that. And then when we actually launched the product, the people put the money where their mouth was. They got the product.
yeah, there's a lot of them, and I commend a lot of them because almost everybody I think has just come from TradingView. A lot of them are first time NinjaTrader users, and they're different platforms. There's a lot more to NinjaTrader than there is TradingView, which is why we use it, obviously. But yeah, I commend a lot of them for sticking with it and just putting in the time to learn and do some back testing and everything like that. So I think we've only been today's the 28th. We launched on the 19th, so just 9 days. So, anyways, yeah, we're doing pretty good. The group's really good. I'm happy with it so far. And then
Yeah, and
we
I
got
think
it.
when people start seeing, that okay, people are starting to get it, and we are really trying hard to help consolidate the videos. We built that mini YouTube right on the trader dashboard. We're going to try to number the videos literally step one through step whatever. I mean, we'll do whatever we can to try to help that process.
Yeah, and then you got the affiliate program going, which is kind of a surprise to a lot of people because we didn't even really talk about it at all. And I think once we announce that later on this week, I think it's going to be a big surprise to everybody that it's a pretty nice program. I've never seen percentages like we're going to give out for affiliates. So yeah, I know
No.
you've been working on the back end on that. How's that going?
Yeah, that was, I mean, for once, now that we've been working on this and I've been just building out some of the back end technology with our website, this time I took a different approach. A lot of times, like, I'm like, hey, I want to build mini YouTube to make our videos consolidate. So I just did it. But this time I knew it took a lot of coding in all of our web pages. It had to work, with their APIs on Tap Affiliate. So this time we did a lot of research. I really spent a lot of time looking at the white pages, looking at exactly what we're trying to do, what to expect, what they're expecting as far as what they want to read the data for, and then how we're handling our data on our end and just, okay, match it together. So it really worked, honestly, really well. So now it's just getting in the portals, getting everybody set up, and then, getting our tiers and everything kind of established, getting some of their market materials going for them. But yeah, I think it worked really good. I think we'll be able to get a smooth product out
Good.
for the affiliate program.
Yeah, good. Well, it's going to be worth the effort to have that dashboard there. You can track everything. I mean, it's a kind of a pretty cool feature. Something we really wanted to do with this business is help others, maybe make a couple bucks off it too, right? So, yeah, I'm actually pretty proud of that, to be honest. The fact that we're getting that going and we're able to offer that, I just think that's the coolest thing. So, yeah, thanks for getting that going. I mean, that was awesome. I know it wasn't
Hey,
easy
definitely,
to
man.
put that in, but
Just just a couple guys building this, we got a lot of just with technology, man. You and I are able to build what, a multi-million dollar company practically has. These are the kind of products we're able to offer at the same level.
yeah, yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, if you just stick with it and put your mind to it, you can really get some stuff done. It's when you dive all into it, and this goes for anything in life, right? you can't just put your toe in. You got to really dive into the deep end if you're going to do something, and that's the way I've always done things in life too. Just either I'm in all the way or not at all. It's one or the other with me. So um, I think that shows in the way things are. I mean, you're the same way, right? So I mean, that's why it shows in the way things are
Well,
working
yeah.
out, and
It
I'm really proud of what we're doing here, to be honest. And I love all the members; they're really cool people, and working with Jat's been pretty good too. He's pretty much a partner in my eyes. So I'm really happy to have him on board too. That was a cool find. It was I guess your friend to begin with, or
Yeah,
somebody
we
that you
wouldn't have
knew.
a community. Yeah, we wouldn't have the community we have now without Jet. And the whole GAN community, really, every one of them, took and trusted us. And all we're asking is just like you said, you put everything into it. What we're doing, just guys, please do that with NinjaTrader. I know it's a different platform. It's a little scary because it works differently. It's not as upfront, as TradingView, but it also offers capabilities that TradingView's never going to have. So give it the time, learn it. You see other people are starting to get it. You will be able to get it too. And we're there. We're going to start doing weekly streams to answer anybody's questions. You can always get a hold of one of us. Somebody's going to be there to answer your questions and get it solved and get you going.
Yeah, I do my best. I think um, Jat's suggestion was to go on live there once or twice a week. So I said, yeah, I'll go. We'll do like 12. We'll do like noon to 1, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And, I'll just be there and we can all be there and we'll just, talk about stuff and figure it out and set up strategies. If people just want examples of how to set everything up, going through all the different states and generator and AutoBot and all the different things you can do with it. Some people, I guess there's a lot to it. I mean, I built it and especially AutoBot, I built it and, I guess you just kind of get used to it. But I was doing a one-on-one with somebody there the other day, and they said, "Well, is there a way in NinjaTrader to make it so it only trades like I only want to trade from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m." I said, "Oh, yeah, there's a way to do it. It's built right into Autobot." And she's like, "Oh yeah." I
Right?
said, "Yeah, yeah. Look,
One
go
of
to
the
custom
features.
buttons, and just turn the time block on." And then you just set the time to whatever you want, and the bot will only trade during that time that you set. So that was pretty funny, actually. I'm like, oh yeah, there is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah.
But from
So
somebody new though that's never seen our product, that's never seen NinjaTrader, I can kind of understand.
yeah,
I've kind of watched you build it from the entire beginning of when we talked about it, when it was just a discussion in our minds. We haven't even done the first line of code or built the website, and then where we're at now. Of course, you and I get it, but I can maybe understand how somebody that's never seen it before, they just installed their first indicator NinjaTrader, and it's an entire trading bot.
yeah.
I
I
get.
mean, yeah. I mean, I've been on Ninja for a lot of years, so I guess I just get used to a lot of things, and I just know how to use it pretty well. But Ninja had an update not too long ago, a couple 3 days ago. Um, just going through the release notes here, it's some pretty cool stuff. I'm really surprised. They got a new feature called Pulse, and it just tells you how many shorts and how many longs are in the market. So
Wow.
if you remember GameStop, the reason it did what it did was because there was more shorts in the market than there were actual shares of the stock. So, and I mean, in retrospect, that should be illegal. How can you sell more stocks than actually exist? But the way these brokers work, they allow that to happen. I think maybe they've kind of axed that because it was such a big ordeal with that
Yeah.
GameStop thing. But yeah, that was the problem. So had we have had this and we were able to put GameStop in here, you would see 120%, I think, on the red, 120% short. That's what it would have said. But no, this is a cool feature. So it'll tell you in this case, it says 18%. So okay, well 18% of it's net long. If it was neutral, then it would be 50-50 shorts and longs.
Yeah.
34% of it's, and then yeah. So I mean, that's a real cool feature. Sum of the net long positions minus the sum of the net short positions equals divided by sum of all net positions. So that's what that gives you. So I haven't even updated to the new one yet, but I'm probably going to now. I really want to check that out. And then
No
another one,
kidding.
they added some hotkey features too, which is actually pretty cool. So what they're allowing you to do now is combine keyboard actions with mouse actions. So in this example, you can do Alt left click to stop market, or you could do Shift left click to do a limit order. Um, really you could do anything. You could do, Control Z left click for something, to add an order, to close a position, to add a stop limit order. So that's a really cool feature because you before you couldn't combine mouse actions. So which means if you were to now that you can combine mouse actions, you should be able to put your mouse, say, 50 ticks above price and click, control left click and add your limit order there. You know what I mean? It would go right exactly where your mouse is. So I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to work. So that's cool. Another one is that you can just hide all your indicators if you got a bunch of them. I think TradingView kind of has that. It's got the little eyeball where you can just kind of hide certain indicators. So
Yeah.
yeah, they're going to let you do that now. And there's a couple other things. I mean, this is kind of cool, but it's whatever. It'll tell you the P&L background. So, here's your position 15, 15. So if you were short, you could make that background red. It's pink there, and or you can make it green if you were long. Same with the text. Same with the background of this box. So, I mean, it's just a color thing. Just shows you a bit of features. Okay, so you're probably going to like this. So templates, they've changed the templates a little bit. They've streamlined it. So what you do is you just have a little list here instead. Before it would kind of open up a new window with a bunch of them there. So it's going to
Yeah.
have a list there, and I think it puts your most recent ones first, and you can just scroll down the little menu instead of going into a different window. So, I mean, that's not like a huge deal, but it's something. And then also you can, okay, where is it? Apply chart. Yeah, but there's another one too. So they said something about being able to export them a lot easier. I forget where I read that. But anyways,
Yeah, but it looks like it keeps you in the same chart, the window at least, so because a lot of times when you've got that pop-up, you can't do anything else in the chart. So I like the ability to where if you just got different templates for different strategies, you should be able to switch right through
yeah,
them.
I know I read it somewhere. I'll find it eventually. But yeah, they make it easier for you to export and import templates, and they say they make it easier to take with you. If you're gonna say you have a desktop and you want your templates on your laptop, you're gonna be able to just export them really easily and bring them over onto your laptop. So I'm actually really glad they're adding that because templates is a big part of what we do. I call them
Yeah.
presets on the bot, but I mean, we're all about chart templates, settings templates because it's a great place to start. If somebody has ran market replay and they've got good results, I mean it's awesome that people are sharing their templates, so other people can use the same settings and see how it works for them. So that's a big part of what we do. And then you can just multiple times, so you could highlight the Asia session, the London session, the New York, and it's just a chart background, and now it's built in. So that's cool. And then this one's for me, Ninja Script access for volume profile. So before, volume profile was under Order Flow Plus, and
Yeah.
now they've opened up the code so then we can access it, and that'll come in handy because that I have these live scripts going, right. So I have the live lines, live trend lines, live horizontal lines, and then when they cross the line, it throws a signal so I can automate it. So
So we can add volume profile to that then potentially,
yeah,
like wherever the
so
profile
I
feeds
already
are at.
have live Fibonacci, right? So you would turn them off, and you would say, okay, well, if price goes back into the golden zone, then I want to get in. So then in this case, you would just set it up something like this. And then you see how that golden zone line is on. So
Yeah.
once price breaks that, we'd say, I don't know where we'd put it for this example, but it doesn't matter. In this case, you would say, okay, once it comes back to the golden zone, then I want to get in. So that's how I use that. Or you can actually use this as the breakout indicator too. If you just turn both of the outsides on, if you wanted, and you just brought it down, then you could use it as the breakout. But yeah, you could use any of the fib lines. So I call it the live fib. But yeah, so the cool thing about this is now I've got the live fib. Now we can do the live volume profile. So you can do point of control, value area high, value area low, and you could use it to trade directly. You could just trade those lines, like if they cross and close above them, or you can add them in Generator as a condition. You could set up a state basically, and you could say, hey, you know what, if you could say volume profile, and then if it's below the value area high, that's a state. If it's above it, that's a different state. Or you could do the point of control. So if price is above the point of control, you could call that long state, and then you would only take longs when it's above the point of control. And then if it goes below the point of control, you could set that as a short state, and then you could say, hey, I only want short signals below the point of control. So that's really cool. I already kind of had a volume profile coded up for something else from a while ago, but it's just nice to have that code available now. So they're nice. They actually updated this, which is something good for us. Guidance for when users has no accounts. So they've kind of changed the window. So they ask you, start a free simulation, enable multi-pro provider, which you gotta, you know what I mean? You gotta do that from the menu. I think who was having trouble with that? Was it Easel was having trouble with the multi-provider?
Richard was having problems with that. Yeah, he didn't know where the multi-provider checkbox was.
Yeah, so I mean, you can do it from here now. So obviously they've realized they listen. I mean, when you tell NinjaTrader, they listen. They'll get to it, and so they just make it easy. How do you want to continue? So they tell you, oh, you want to connect to playback? You hit connect, and it'll show you what to do. This is a cool one, eh? So you've seen me use this before. This is the order flow trade detector, and it just puts a little bubble on the chart, and it just depends on the delta. So if it has, in this case, it has a high negative delta on that bar. So the bubble is a certain size, but now you can add signals to that.
Oh.
Alerts, you see what I mean? So because NinjaTrader does have alerts, a lot of people don't know, but yeah, so before you couldn't actually set an alert. So if you get a high delta volume, either positive or negative, now you can add a signal and look in the alerts log. It'll be red. See, trade detector triggered. So that'd be a high negative, high positive delta. So
can we configure ours to trade that, you think? That would be kind of neat if we can modify that. I mean, that would be cool.
Yeah, I can. I mean, so this is all accessible. So once I update Generator to read signal properties, because I don't have it set up to do that yet, but once we get there, it'll read the value of any indicator that you have on the chart. So if that was on the chart, you could right click and go to the data box, and if you hovered your crosshair over that bar, you would be able to see what the delta value is in the data box. So
that means really cool.
I would be able to read it as well in Generator once we do that update. Okay, here it is. I told you I wasn't going crazy. Import and export workspaces. Take your workspace with you. The new workspace import and export tools make it easy to back up, share, and move your custom layouts directly from the control center. No file digging required. See, there's an import for your workspace. So now you don't have to go, into users, documents, NinjaTrader 8, templates, blah, blah, blah. You can just do it straight from the control center NinjaTrader. So that's going to be pretty cool. We can just
export what's working for us and then share that to people then, and then they can import it right from the control panel.
Yeah, so we go to our community part on our website, or we go to our Discord, and yeah, simple. Users can just export, and then as long as they have all the correct indicators on their system, if you have certain indicators within the workspace, whoever's taking that template, they got to have the same indicators installed on their NinjaTrader, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be that easy. So I told you I wasn't crazy. And then there's a couple other things. I mean, not really much. Wick outline, you can get it to match the candle body with an option. I mean, whoopee-doo. And then you can change the chart from 24 hours to 12-hour display if you want. So instead of it always going like 19, 20, 21, you can just do AM and PM, which I kind of like, to be honest. I prefer that. Yeah. I'm not. Maybe you're probably 24 hours because you're military.
In military, right? Yeah, don't mind it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Once it gets to like 19 and 20, I'm just like, I have no idea.
Trying to add -3.
Yeah, I can get to 16 because I know that's the market close. I'm pretty sure, but yeah, that's about it. So after 16, I have no idea. So yeah, I don't do that anymore. And then not really much else. Nothing really cool. So, and then they fixed a bunch of bugs too. Symbol limit was reached unexpectedly. Zoom wasn't working properly. So they always fix a couple little things, and it's with different feeds too. IQ feed. I think I seen one for Rhythmic right here. Rhythmic. MHG. So what's that? That's micro natural gas. was not
I
showing
think so.
position. Yeah, so I mean they're always updating things like this too, right? You can see how it's rhythmic specific, or IQ feed, which is one that I showed you for level 3 data for the NASDAQ. I think that was
Yeah.
IQ feed. Um, tick replay, order flow plus, cumulative delta did not reset for new sessions when tick replay was enabled. So, I mean, they're always making it better one way or another. But yeah, I'm really pumped to see this pulse feature. I think that's cool.
I think that'll be
And
really nice to have in our window.
I would love to put it. I would love to make something custom out of it too. Whether we could use that as an indicator, or you know what I mean. You could just maybe
Yeah.
filter trades. Say, hey, when you're in the net negative shorts, maybe set something up that way. I don't know, but
Yeah, make it a state potentially. Yeah.
something like that. That would be pretty cool. So
Well, it's just kind of like what we're doing, you know? I mean, Ninja Trader's updating all the time, so are we. We literally
yeah,
just got this thing installing on a computer months ago, and then we started getting it through beta testing. Everybody, in that group really busted their butts to see what was working, what wasn't working. So we got, those final releases done, and now, we're launched and people are able to use it. So,
yeah, I'm excited. I'm really happy with those beta testers. They help me out a lot on certain things. Some good suggestions. I do have some updates for Riptide coming out. It's going to be candle color. You're going to be able to change it. It's going to pop signals for candle color. The moving average. So when the moving averages flip, we're going to have signals for that. So we got a couple updates coming along with some new indicators. So we're really trying to push that out. And then I think once I get a couple of these little scripts going, I might do the opening range one too. I got that half done. So you can automate opening range, and you can use, like, if it breaks out to the high, you can use the lower end of the opening range. It'll pop a signal, so you can use that to get out of your trade or whatnot. So I don't know. What do you think? I should get that done probably. It's pretty popular, the opening range.
yeah, because everybody likes that, or I mean that. I know Easel specifically likes trading that, so we can get something to where they can either do the breakout, catch a few points, or then wait for it to retest, and then it can touch, and then they take that trade from there. It really gives people an idea where the market is. If you're above the opening range, okay, we're kind of long biased. If we break that and we come back and retest the lower side of it, then okay, we're probably going down the rest of the day, and that happens usually within the first hour of market open. So that's a popular strategy. And I think maybe a little bit of semi-automation. Look, the bot is great. We can set it on a gamma bar, like a 45, 50 setting, and it's going to trade, limited signals, I think, but they're going to be good, strong signals, especially when you add like an ETM state and, a couple things to the generator. You can really create some good signals and automate that. But if you really want to get your hands, working with it, your line breaks are just great. Your live lines just look amazing. That's really going to be a cool tool to have.
Yeah, I mean, you could just manually set up an opening range just using those live lines if you wanted to. But
Yeah.
it's nice. Well, because the opening range, the way it's coded too, it does the retest as well. And I'll put that into live lines probably in like the next version. But the
Yeah.
opening range, the cool thing about it, it doesn't have to be opening range. It can be the overnight range. It can be the afternoon range. It could be
Midnight.
just the 10 to
Gold has a
11
range.
range. Yeah, or the
Yeah.
lunchtime range. I know a lot of people don't look at that, but if you get stuck in a range through lunchtime, that's actually a really good afternoon setup if you break it one way or
Yeah.
another, depending on what happened in the morning. So I know a lot of people leave at around noon, but if you're patient and you can really focus, you can dial in some really good afternoon trades. I see a lot of good afternoon traders too. So it tends to be less retail and more algorithmic, more professional trading in the afternoon as well. At least for the good chunk of the afternoon, maybe the close, maybe not so much. But yeah,
You
so
need
I
10
mean,
points, I mean, 10 points and you could really shut yourself down. Trade
oh
three,
yeah,
five kind of accounts, copy trading, and, you're done. You don't need any more than that. Just let that grow slowly and steadily every day.
yeah, that's all you need. I mean, that's the thing about it. So some people say, well, how do I make 500 a day? How do I make 1,000? Or how do I lose that much? It can go either way, right? But
Yeah.
you just do multiple accounts. You know what I mean? That's how I always did it. I said, I never tried to make 1,000 a day. I just tried to make 100 a day, and then I just did the same thing over 10 accounts. It turned into 1,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
risk like I've never heard it before. It's amazing, really.
yeah. I mean, and that's how you got to look at it, right? And that's even before I had the accounts, and I was just doing couple of years of market replay, which I did do, and I do have like a friggin' stack of papers with just chicken scratch on it, but I have every instrument, the time of day, the indicators. I have a lot. I should show you one day if I can even find them anymore. I'm pretty sure I didn't throw them out because it was good data. But yeah, that was it the whole time. I would look at what I made. Okay, well I made 20 ticks today, or I made 15 ticks. You know, times how much per tick, times how many accounts. I mean, 15 ticks could be, $7.50 on micros, or it could be $750 with a couple minis. You know what I mean? It's all relative. That's why I don't like talking about like dollar numbers when it comes to trading. I just like talking ticks, because ticks is just,
Yeah.
you can just multiply ticks by the amount of contracts or the amount of accounts you have. So to me, if somebody said, "Oh, I made $300 today," well, what's that? Is that 20 accounts? Did you make 10 ticks on 20 accounts, or did you make 150, 200 ticks on one account? Because that's different. I mean, if you made 150 ticks on one account, or that's a good trade. I don't care if it only made you $100, if it made you 10,000. 150 ticks is 150 ticks. That's what really matters. You know what I mean? The ticks are what really matters. It's not really the money that matters so much.
Well, I
So it's
think somebody made
important.
a comment one time that, oh, we did 400, or, like my settings did 400 today,
Yeah.
and that was a good trade. But then you'd made the comment, well, yeah, but I'd rather make $100 on 4 accounts than make 400 on one account. And it's so
Yeah.
true, because your risk is so much better. You're never going to be in risk or jeopardy of blowing your account or dipping into your drawdown every day, because you might have pulled back $200 on a trailing drawdown, and the account shows you've lost 200 today, not that you made 400. So people need to be aware of that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's super important. Yeah, that's why I don't like talking about money, because it's irrelevant. You know what I mean? So, and it's always about the risk. If you can't lose, you know, certain amount of trades, then you're not doing it right. It's not about what you can make. It's about how many losses can you handle before you're done. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, I mean, if it's less than 40, 50, you're probably not doing it right, to be honest with you. But trading in a way where you know that you can lose 50 in a row before you blow, I mean, it's a really comfortable way to trade. You know what I mean? With the trailing drawdown, it does make it a little bit harder. But if you're running with a cash account, and I encourage people to do that, you'd be surprised at how much money some people have spent, myself included,
Oh, me too.
on prop firms. But had you just put that
Yeah.
money in the live account and traded small without the trailing drawdown, you might have did a little better. That's the thing, right? And you can trade. There's some discount brokers where you only need $500 to trade one micro. So say you saved up every time you bought a prop firm, you just put that money into an account and just saved it and tested your strategy. Maybe you have 4 or 5 grand in an account, and you just take one or two micros. You know what I mean? And you risk maybe 25, 30, $40 a trade. You're just as well off
Maybe get
doing
that
that than,
affiliate program going. Try
yeah,
doing
than,
that.
yeah, exactly. So, anyways, yeah, you're better off just doing that than you are sometimes than you are doing the prop firms. But the prop firms are good too. But you know what? It's if you've tested what you're doing and you're confident in it, then prop firms can be good because I can get you there faster. But if you're just trying to learn, like if you think passing a prop firm is like is you're in for trading, well, it's not. You got to know what you're doing before you go there. Otherwise, you're just better doing cash. But either way, I mean, it's a good. You know what I always say though, prop firms are a good middle ground because sometimes sim trading is it's not serious enough, and it's hard for some people to take it serious enough. But then if you have a live account, it can be hard too because that's your real money. So it can get too emotional, and you can make mistakes due to the emotion. So sometimes a prop firm is a good learning tool if you think about it like you're just kind of in the middle ground. So you got a little bit of skin in the game, but not a lot of skin. But it's enough that if you do well, you can actually make something out of it. So there is a spot for them for sure. There really is. But you know, I don't like spending too much on them until you really think that you got something going too, right? So that's why I always encourage back testing and market replay in NinjaTrader is what I lived on for a lot of years, you know. So that's really what I like to focus on too. So I'm sure you've done a lot of that since we got together. You've done a lot more market replay than you ever did. Hey,
By far. And I like what you said too. I really do about, if you could lose 15 trades in a row and still not blow your account. Imagine just how comfortable you would be to just trade one or two micros, try to target whatever your broker's daily minimum is. If it's $50, target $55. If it's
Yeah.
$100, target $110 and then shut it down. Do that across multiple accounts and you don't have that stress. You just let the trade work out, and believe it or not, most of the time trades are going to pull back, you're going to go into drawdown, but then the trade's going to start developing and working out, and it would have been not only a winning trade, but then it just took off in the direction you intended it to go, and you would have
Yeah.
done extremely well by just being patient.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than sitting in a trade knowing that like you lost your last two and like if you lose this one then that's it. It doesn't
Yeah,
work that way. Yeah, and I know, but that's where the prop firms sometimes they get you is they got the daily minimums, but you really got to look into the fine print. So I've only really used Apex, but in their fine print it's you need, I think it was 5 days. I can't remember now because I haven't even been trading them for a while, but I think it was 5 days per payout. It needs to be over $100. So even if you traded for 2 weeks, not every day needs to be over that $50 amount. Only 5 days within that pay
yeah,
period needs to be over that 50. So you could do, you know, I had 20 accounts, so 30, $40, 30, $40, and then you get a couple times within the 2, 3 weeks or a month. I would take it slow that you would get over the 50. So I would reach my 5 days. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be every day. So I encourage to read the fine print too. Does it have to be every single day? Do you have to reach that minimum, or is there a certain amount of days within that pay period that you got to hit that minimum? So it's really part of prop firms is really understanding the rules. They're all a little bit different, and really studying them and using them to your advantage. They could be to your disadvantage, but if you study them, you can also use them to your advantage. And I know a few people have told me that they didn't realize that Apex, it was only 5 days per pay period that you had to reach that minimum. They thought it was every day that they traded. So
yeah.
understanding these things will also help you out.
And it goes with our GammaX products as well too. I mean, it is learning the tools and then having those tools work best for you. What chart setting works best for you? Are you better in a Hakanashi chart? Are you better in maybe a Renko or Gamma bars or Vega bars? Just start testing and playing around with it and just see what you're having better success with, how the
Yeah,
bot's able to handle it during the right times of the market. Don't trade during lunchtime. Don't trade during those consolidation times, and just you want those clean, smooth, actions. You want that leg that you just, watched coming into your level. You want that to be a smooth leg. That way, the next trade that you're going to take, that's probably going to be a pretty good leg as well, too. It's going to produce the exact results you're anticipating. And it takes practice. It takes time, There's no
yeah.
magic button.
And I've been down every path like that. I've gotten up at 2:30 in the morning and traded London Open. I've traded from 4:30 in the morning, which is when the stocks pre-market open. I've traded the market open. I've traded just afternoons and or just the afternoon open at 6 p.m. So I mean, there's opportunities at every single time of day. And if you're living on the West Coast and you're in a little bit of a different time zone, or you're a couple hours, 3 hours, behind, maybe you just want to focus on an afternoon session, or maybe you're in Europe or something like that, and you want to trade London, or you know what I mean. I'm just saying, there's things to note at different times of day. I spent a lot of time going from 5 a.m. Eastern time, like New York time, 5 a.m. to 7, and no later than 7:30. Between 7 and 7:30, I'd be careful because the strategy I was trading was more. It was actually better in chop, and I'll show it to you one day. It actually worked when the market was chopping. So when 7 and 7:30 come along, well, that's when the algos start kicking in before the 8:30 news and stuff, and it would start trending. So it was no good for me. But I found a nice opportunity. 6 a.m. was a great opportunity to get what I wanted. Price would shoot up and it would retrace, and that would be my trade. But I really refined that time of day. So I mean, don't think that you're restricted to the market open or to 10 minutes after market open, because that's the most volatile time. You can make money anywhere. And like I said, when you're trading at 5 a.m., yeah, you're not going to get 100 tick moves like you would at 9:30. But here's the thing. You're not going to have the stop either. To get 100 ticks, what's your stop to get it? Maybe 100, maybe 50. You're trading at 5 a.m. and maybe you're only getting a 20 tick move, right? But what stop are you using to get that 20 ticks? Maybe 20 tick stop or 30 tick stop, which means now instead of using one contract, maybe a micro, maybe you can use 3 at 5 a.m. because now your stop is smaller than it would be. You know what I'm saying? So you can end up making the same money off of a 20 tick target as you would a 100 tick target just by increasing the contract size, because now your risk is reduced in ticks. So I mean, these are the things you got to think about. These are the things you got to figure out. These are the things you got to test, and just see like what suits you better, where you live in the world. There's so many different things. I really encourage back testing and doing replay and really dialing in what you're doing. It's a business after all. It's not, it's not casino gambling. So that's what I recommend.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has to practice and everybody has to put the work in. And the beautiful thing about our community is, we are able to people that have put some of that time and effort into it to see what works for them. They're able to share their, their presets and their charts. And then at least it gives you a jumping off point. But just don't think that, hey, we're going to let somebody else do the work and then I can just, add the presets. You really need to learn and understand, why the market's doing that. Why do their presets work like this?
You'll
Because
never be
you should
confident just copying like that. You'll never be confident in what you're doing, and you have to be confident.
Exactly.
So, anyways.
Cool,
okay,
man.
well, that was a good talk, man. I'm really happy for our first podcast. It was a little bit shaky there in the beginning, just getting used to it, but I had fun with it. I think we can do this every week on Sunday. It's nice to see where the market opens on Sunday, right? So it's 8:26 Eastern time, so the market's been open for a couple hours, the futures anyways, so it's nice to be able to see that, and we should probably try to do this every Sunday if we can.
I think so. It gives an idea of, what happened in the market, what we might be expecting, and then, what's coming just for GammaX, what's coming with you and me, in our little orbit,
Yeah, what's in the pipeline, maybe, some heads up on things like the affiliate program. So, I just like the community building part of the podcast, so I really hope it goes over well and people enjoy it as well. But, we'll do it. We'll do at least 1,000 episodes and see how it goes. What do you think?
Oh, man, I think at least 10,000 or more. No,
I don't know
10,000 or bust.
I don't know. We won't be around that long.
No, man.
Yeah. Okay.
We should be on the beach hired by 1,000, I'm hoping.
Yeah. That would be crazy. Anyways. Okay, man. Hey, good talking. I'll let you go, and we'll see you here next week.
All right, brother. Cool, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
See you.
You